in there, man. What's going on with all the heavy breathing?
Hello?
What's going?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. There's a lot of whoops. Uh, there's a lot of heavy breathing over
Not on my end.
there.
Huh.
Yeah. Did you have fun at the flea market?
Not fun. I just walked around. Maybe found a little bit of junk here and there. Oh, we did find it. There's a Filipino family that has a big vegetable stand there. So my wife was with me last weekend. So
When I was riding the bus home, when I sold my car, um, I saw this antique shop. Been there longest time. It had a car that I had when I was a kid. It was a blue car, looked like a Pontiac. The grill and the lights, you know, and it's same color, man. Same red steering wheel, like chrome hubcaps, red wheels, white walls. And I always wanted to buy that, but then I kept putting it off, and finally bought it down. I remember that thing. I used to drive that down the sidewalk into the parking lot that the electric company owned. I'd
what
park my
was
car.
what kind of Pontiac was it?
I don't know. It was a kid car. It was a metal, pedal deal,
Oh,
and it had a grill like a 59, 58 Pontiac Chieftain. My dad had one. So
is this one of those little pedal cars that were made of metal?
yeah,
Yeah,
it was sturdy as hell because I used to run into a lot of shit with
yeah,
it.
I remember those.
Well, there was one there that was exactly like, who knows if it were the same one or not. But I was always curious about that. Saw it every night for a couple of months. Somebody bought it. Could have had a could have bought a vending machine. I don't know what I'd have done with it now, but a soda vending machine with the door on it, like the old ones.
Yeah.
You have to pull the money out to the rollers. And it was rigged to put a quarter in. Put a quarter in, could have bought that for like $250, I think.
Hmm.
Never did it. The guy now I don't even know if he got to retire, but he was in a assisted living and all that shit, man. His wife
I
was
can't,
a wife was an alcoholic, and this dude worked his ass off.
I can't remember did they cost a quarter back then for a glass
I
bottle?
don't know, man.
Remember, didn't
Probably
you used to get
so.
a nickel back or something, or
I don't know.
a dime for the
It,
liter bottles or something, or
it
two
was
liter?
rigged for a quarter, so I guess you could set it to 35 cents, 25,
Right.
something. I forget it because back then, that time I'm talking, Twinkies when they were good were like a dime.
Do you remember when did they have knee high soda where you
Yeah,
were at?
yeah. Well,
The
no, in Ohio they
flavored?
didn't.
Yeah, in Ohio they had different like orange, strawberry,
No, I don't think we had grape knee orange.
but yeah, and I remember I think collecting the bottles. I think it was 5 cents for a regular bottle, and then 10 cents for the big glass Coke bottles. Remember were they 1 liter
Yeah,
or one and a
uh,
half, two
big
liter
glass.
bottles, something like that?
Wouldn't be a liter, wouldn't be a glass. Well,
Yeah, they were glass.
yeah, I don't remember that. All I remember was it was so close to the yanking out of the machine, them damn rollers, man. I tried everything I could to get that bottle out of there.
Yeah,
They they had real sugar back then, man. I can't believe I used to cause all that shit like there was no tomorrow. Yeah, Nobody watching. The lurkers, they left. Maria turned 40. Maria, if you're listening, happy birthday. Thought you were younger than that. Now you got beauty. Now you got a competition with beauty with your daughters. Your hearing go better, Pico? Man. Spend most of my time lounging today in a different room, I guess. Get kind of tired of living here. This particular town, anyway. There's not enough distance between me and the west side of the family. Every day it's something. Well, Chico, you probably don't even know. You probably can't. Batteries die on your earpods or whatever those things you call. Well, let's see. Yeah. Freaking rain every day. I mean, God, granted it's warm, but fucking gray skies constantly lately. Got to deal with this shit till September or whatever. Ooh. Well, yeah, lost connection. I'm hesitant to tear into one of those boxes that I had sent here with my stuff because I got my two cameras in there. Just too lazy to set one of these other ones up. I don't think I have any spare SD cards. Somebody making some big stink on YouTube about some kind of laws here. You gotta blur out people's faces or some shit. Tell you, man, people gotta start all over again with freedom of speech. They don't have one anymore. The people that don't like what's being said about them. Oh shit, everything's just about hearsay anyways, There he is again.
Can you hear me this time?
Yeah, I could hear you last time.
You could.
Well, your thing didn't move. Your voice wasn't.
Yeah, it did. It was moving on my end.
No, it wasn't moving. Here.
My avatar was moving on my end, and then you couldn't hear me. So I thought maybe your hearing was gone or something. But
yeah, that's going too. But
it's working now. So.
Yeah, for a little while.
Yeah, it was so long. Thanks for sharing that.
I've been watching. God, I forget who I was watching. Oh, watching those Ahern family. From the Philippines. They lived in Bohol.
Oh, I thought they moved back to the States in Florida or something.
Just hold your horses, man. Yeah, well, I just started following him again after a long time. So his stepdaughter I think she's going on her second kid. Pretty little thing too. She's only 21. But yeah, they were in Florida, So is his wife's cousin, the one that had that baby with Philip Rizzuto, and that's the last time I saw them was all that stuff was going on. So I think the American guy that married Vicky, he's a male nurse, lab tech in a hospital. So they were in Florida too. Now they're all in Tennessee, from Nashville, thereabouts.
Jeez.
So I think he said he rented a house, but I think he bought the house because it looked like it was one of those strip deals. Got the gray earth tone wall, walls and white trim and the brown floor. But entertaining nonetheless. Though these kids are all, last time I saw them, William.
So what? They all live together, or what?
No, they don't live together. They got their own house, but he still hasn't. He came over there with the daughter, with the adult daughter, and I don't know if her husband or her partner's coming over here, or I mean going over to Tennessee, or she's gonna go back. I have no idea. But a nice house, man. Buying a lot of stuff online. He bought this. He bought this foam rubber like couch and love seat or whatever on from Amazon. And as soon as you take it out of the package, it expands to the form. So,
I wonder how
just,
people like that make money.
oh sure, well,
Constantly moving around, changing places to live.
dude, he thought he would try America. He said, which I mean, to Tennessee, because Florida's just too hot. Well, so he's trying to try that. He said he's renting, but I gotta believe it. I don't know about that. I think he bought the house. But anyway, I mean, he's got over 720,000 subscribers. I think he had to come back here and square it with the IRS.
Yeah, but what does that equate to in monthly salary? I mean,
It depends, dude. If you got I don't know if it's, I just saw what the rate was on per video. But do you imagine a guy like that, like the dude that does the card thing in Thailand? Was it something? Oh, CD Media or CB Media. When I joined that guy's channel, he had 50,000 subs. Now he's over 750 or 800. He's got two condos on two ends of Bangkok. So he must. I saw a live stream once, and people were giving him $5, $10, $2. There were 14,000 people on his live stream. Could you imagine getting $5 from 14,000 people?
sounds like the twit back in the day.
Well, not as great, but you can still get that if you. But I don't know, I think the damage is done with that. Unless you get a whole crop of people that never knew of you before.
I was never smart enough to take other people's money.
Yeah, nah. Well, when I was gonna get my channel there, Dennis said, "Well, I'll give you money." Then nah, I'd rather give it to Maria, because I don't. I hope to never need it that bad. But it's an awful big risk when you do something in the grind years. I call them up till your retirement age. The 50s are so fucking long to get through. Unbelievable. Just for me, it was. But here I am. When the day came, I was like, gee, it really wasn't that bad. I thought myself. It
You see a
just
bunch of YouTubers saying everyone's leaving the Philippines, but
They're the ones still living there that are saying that.
Yeah, that's all. Keep coming and going all the time, man. You know, when I first saw his videos again, I forget his name. Shit, I forget his name. But he had a video where he stepped outside in the house and it was about 40 some degrees, you know. And that just brought back my last memory, you know, just before I left. My shoes crunching the ground, you know.
I'll
Yikes.
tell you what, it's been stupid hot the last few days here. 90,
Yeah, I guess.
93. I mean,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous.
It-
Absolutely ridiculous.
that's a short-term deal.
I hope
That's
so.
why they make air conditioners, man.
I'm ready for football weather now. It's only June.
Yeah. You got Rogers now.
Yeah.
They do pretty decent. I just think their defense is gonna fail them.
I predict they'll be 7-10. That's their record this year.
Well,
Because you know he ain't going to last the whole year. I give him maybe half the season, then he's going to have some injuries somewhere. It's going to keep.
that depends. It depends on what kind of line he's got. You know, he ought to be encouraging these dudes instead of putting them down.
It's believe me, it hasn't been too good recently. So I figure he'll last. He might play half the games, and then he's going to be hurt. So I don't know. I've given up. You know, I'm like, what were the bad decades for Green Bay fans? Was it the 80s or?
The 80s, yeah, 80s into the mid.
That's what we're about now. We're like,
well,
when the Packers before they got Favre.
Look, well, the 70s sucked, and the early to mid 70s to mid 90s, you know. But all we cared about here was like the Bears do now was beating the Bears, man. If we beat the Bears, that was a good season, you know. But I used to think Favre was a prima donna, man. This freaking Rodgers is worse. I never saw a guy that loved himself so much.
All these people around here, I mean, the fans are thinking this is like the 1970s again. You know,
Yeah.
they haven't won an actual playoff game for 9 years. You know, so I'm like, what are you smoking? You know,
But they've been
deal
competitive.
with reality.
Most of it.
Yeah, they've been 500, just over 500.
You know what? The
9 and 8. You know,
the baseball team in Milwaukee is right back to being the 500. You know, win one, lose two. Win two, lose one. Back and forth like that.
Hey, they have that new pitcher. What is it, Mizorowski or something, man?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He and Pittsburgh's good young guy went head to head in Milwaukee, won.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that bit. The guy came. I think he came up last year.
He started out with 11 no-hit innings or something like that. Or his first
11
11 innings pitched.
So 8 or 11.
Yeah, he's doing real well.
Well, you'll see once he's been through the mill one time. When he come around the second time.
Yeah, once they've seen him and know what he's got.
Yeah, that's usually
adjust to it.
Yeah, it's usually like that. You know, you find a little more better success, and hopefully he learns on what pitches to get you out on. I remembered I saw an interview with Greg Maddux. You know, when he pitched for the Cubs and the Braves.
Yeah,
and it was a regular season game when he was with the Braves. I think he finished up with the Braves. I can't remember, but he threw a ball to who's that star on Houston? Baggio, the big guy.
Biggio. Yeah.
No, it wasn't him.
Biggio.
No, it was a different one.
Oh.
Guy played first base. I forget his number, his name. He's popular. But anyway, he threw him a ball, like let him hit a home run off of a pitch.
Uh-huh.
So they were interviewing, I think Eddie Perez, his catcher, and he said, "Do you know why I did that?" He says, "No." He did it, and he said, "Because we're going to be playing them in the playoffs." So when because Maddox didn't have a super fastball, he was more of a junk ball pitcher.
Right.
You know, curveball and slider and changeup. But came to playoff time, the dude was looking for that pitch. He struck out on it. He struck out on because he changed the pitch like a slider, and he went after that. He gophered after that shit the whole game.
Mhm.
You know, he said, "You remember when I hit that home run back in the regular season?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "That's why I did that." But he didn't have a blazing fastball, but he could.
No, he had
He-
location and he had finesse.
Yeah.
He knew how to.
Yeah, he knew how to. He knew what to do. But but the doctor came in here to put some iodine on my injury here. Oh man,
What did you injure?
right above the split with the little toe and the one next to it. I was outside in the back, and I turned on. I opened the screen door, and I thought it closed slow enough that I could go and grab it and put my foot there right away. And the bottom of the door is gouged my right above my split there in the toes.
Mhm.
So that's been hurting all week, and I haven't been able to go to the detox place for get sugar and shit taken out of your body. Put your feet through your feet. Works for me. What is it? About 600 peso for 2 hours.
What do
300
they
for an hour.
do?
It's just like putting on your feet in an Epsom salt kind of thing.
Oh,
It takes out all the impurities. It's a new technology, so everybody talks shit about it. But they put in these. I don't know what kind of salt it would be. I don't even know what the term is, but if you have too much sugar, your feet could swell or
yeah. So is this hot water?
just warm, cold. It don't matter. Works for me though.
Just sit there and put your feet in for a couple hours.
Yeah. It bubbles up and it has these different. What they have, there's this chart that shows based on the colors. This is what effect it has.
Mm-hmm.
So because I drink a lot of beverages here, I get when it turns up white and black, it detoxes your liver, your kidney, all kinds of shit.
Detoxes you through your feet.
Well, yeah, but there's this guy who would come in there. I think the owner is in on the scam, and this guy comes in and he goes, "I come in, got this guy looking like a raggedy dude's got his foot in one of the pans, So as we were talking, he didn't say nothing, but the owner there, he says, "Yeah, he was working at home, and he stuck his hand. His hand was kind of swollen, it was from some that. He went to the radio station. It's right next to immigration by me, and he was asking for help. So he's sitting in there, and I'm looking. I look out the window. This lady was going to come in, then she turned around and walked out. And there was a guy in there outside too. They said it was his brother. And I think it was all a fucking scam. Because all of a sudden this woman comes in later and they go, "Well, he doesn't know where to go for help." And she said, "Oh, you can go right down the street to City Hospital. It's free." Well, that lady could have told his brother outside. All of a sudden she comes in there and has wonderful information. you know. And I told the lady because I gave him some. I was going to walk him to the hospital, but they came up with that statement of the city hospital that tends to the poor folks, you know. So he drives a what do you call it for a living? One of the motors you call them here. And he hadn't worked in like 2 weeks. And I did something for him. And I told the lady next time I went in there, I said, "It's the last time that'll happen." She says, "Why?" I said, "Well, fuck, I won't have what I have if I keep doing that." But you know, I said, you know, she retired. I think she was I think she's a call it general practitioner. You know, when you got regular neighborhood doctor kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she didn't collect her pension yet or something or other. But her husband was in the what do you call it? Police force, Philippine PNP, and they got into this endeavor. You know, at first she was trying to feel me out. Go, yeah. Well, you ever think about making an investment? I thought, yeah, right, okay.
Yeah.
If I had 20 grand left, you think I'm going to give it to you? You know, I said I don't have health insurance. You have to pay for my shit. You know, so if I needed heart surgery and I give you 17,000, and I come around and ask you, you're gonna go, "Oh, sorry, we don't have nothing." You know, my investment was my Social Security and my pensions. That's what that was my investment. My time invested. You know, you don't get to be at this end of the line to throw your money at shit like that. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. You know, err on the side of caution all the time like that.
I can't ever imagine living with that attitude like that. Like, how can I take your money away from you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
I just
yeah,
don't go through life like that, you know?
they got it. I mean, why? She asked me. She said, "Why?" When I said that, as if you know, why would you not? You know, I
Yeah,
mean,
why wouldn't you just want to throw your money
why?
at me?
Yeah, do I really need to spell it out?
I know. They can't fathom, like, what do you mean? You got so much. Why don't you just give it all to me?
I think it was bullshit. It could have been not been too, but it was just you know, his brother's outside looking in, smiling, you know, and giggling with the lady. And here it is when he was in there when I walked in, it was all about how he don't have health insurance, this and that. He don't, you know, doesn't know what he's gonna do. All of a sudden this lady comes in that works at the place, the hospital, you can get care for free. Oh yeah, you all of a sudden you walk in because she walked in and then she turned at first she walked in and then she walked out. And then we went on, you know, a little more time went out by and then she walked in. So never more.
I don't know. Man, I don't like to play their games, you know?
Uh,
I'm really tired of it.
I got brother-in-laws that say hello to me that never said don't say shit to me, you know. Yeah, we were walking by him the other day when I went to get a haircut, and I said hi before they. I don't know. And I kept walking, and he personally says hi, which I wasn't expecting. There's all a reason for all that shit. If you're a woman here, if you have a man that can't even afford to pay a rent, why are you bothering with that guy?
It's because it's too late. You already have like 5 or 6 kids with them.
Because
Yeah.
you fuck it up and oh, it'll work out. Are you kidding me? Especially in a place that's harder to get, you know, in on anything when you're a regular educated person. Yeah.
Well, they haven't got into the Western scam of just marrying someone, having kids, and then divorcing them, taking all their money, moving on, doing it again with another guy.
There's some like that here, I'm sure. But When I was in the airport last time I came here, and young lady I was sitting there waiting for after I went through all this shit with my baggage. I remember telling you guys, with all the fees and all this shit. So I'm sitting there, and this young lady comes by. She said she was 22. She said, she goes, yeah, I have a baby. Oh, okay. Like she had one of these dresses.
Congratulations.
She had this dress on that form fitting dress. I mean, it was
Yeah, like
nice.
she worked on a special street in Milwaukee, right?
No. She's a regular person. But my point was, she said, "You married?" I said,
But I
"Yeah."
mean, she dressed like it.
My hearing ain't that great. So I was talking loud. I go, "Yeah, I'm married, got a son." All that. So some of these guys were looking. I thought, what are they looking over? What are they looking over here for? Because she's going to Davao. She said she won a singing contest for Philippine Voice, whatever the version of American show. Yeah, I said, what's that? She goes, oh, never mind. You don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's when I took a couple of days in Manila to go to the zoo, which was Holy Week, so there was nothing open like that. Hey, no problems like that in America. Anyway, I was just. This is why I did what I did the way I did it in the first place. Yeah, I wouldn't have done it any different either, just for that. What's going on? You had a couple of days in 90s?
Oh yeah, 90s, upper 80s. That's too much for me. It makes me realize I don't want to live somewhere hot.
So the air conditioners, man.
But what's the point of moving somewhere if all you got to do is stay inside an air conditioner?
Because you can go in and out of the house with your fucking shorts on. That's all you got to do. You don't got to put 3 layers of shit on, man. I can't tell you.
Sweating
On
my
maybe,
tail off. That last week when my wife and 2 girls were in Europe, I replaced. Let me see. On her SUV, I replaced both rear wheel bearings. And on my daughter's car, I replaced 3 out of the 4 wheel bearings, brakes pads, and
why don't you,
rotors.
why don't you
So,
just
and
do?
I was doing all that out in the heat, man, in my driveway, which is no fun. But at least it didn't rain. Well, the one day I did have to stop and go in between thunderstorms, but yeah.
Oh boy, no garage.
Sweating though. I definitely cleaned my pores out. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, it's good. That's one good thing about it, huh? All the while you're doing that, you're going, what the fuck? Why can't you buy a new car?
No, I ain't paying for any more new cars for anybody. Not even myself. I ain't buying new anymore.
Yeah, I got a brother-in-law that looks
Too old for
looks at
that.
I got a brother-in-law that looks at my truck like, he wants it.
All that new stuff. They got so many new sensors and electronics, computers. It's ridiculous, you know.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
I
They don't
mean,
even.
I like when it got away from carburetors and went to electronic fuel injection. That's good, but
Yeah,
newer than that, you know, I
you
don't
see
care
the
for the
people
newer stuff.
do more with those points and condenser. They're pretty not that expensive and they're easy to put on and take off and put on.
What's that?
Point condenser and
Points, plugs,
distributor.
and condenser?
Yeah. I grew up in a place where we didn't have a garage. The street's all we ever had. So it was either if you don't know how to fix it, you got to go somewhere because you leave your car sitting on one side of the street, you get a bunch of
Yeah,
tickets.
yeah. My dad was never. That's one thing he never got into was fixing cars. So
You know,
He always
I could.
he always took his to the mechanic, but so that's why I never really until I got in the military, and they had those auto
Yeah,
hobby shops on base,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then of course it was kind of necessity. I didn't have the money to pay someone else to do it, so I had buddies that had worked on some vehicles, so they said, "Hey, let's take it to the hobby shop. I'll show you, how to do
I
this or that." So
thought it was so cool that I could walk in and go in that place and use the lift.
yeah, they had all the tools you need. Just take, put a chit in with your name or whatever,
And that's
and
what
then
me.
return it to them.
That's what me and my friend went in there, and he had this great idea about me because I had 7 cylinders running on that 71 Cutlass. One moved a little bit, but I could never get that one to move. Go up and down all the way. And we both high. I know I told the story, but he goes, "Oh, I know how to do that." And I know what a rotor cap. I know what it looks like. It's supposed to. You got a half a pole and a full pole. How can you fuck that
You're
up?
supposed to only be able to put it on one way because there's a flat spot.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you told me about how you got some flames.
Yeah, if
when you put it on backwards.
Yeah, man. If you you're supposed to set on there so like you can feel it, And I always wondered how could you not feel that? Didn't it feel odd?
There's a round shaft that has a flat spot on it.
Yeah,
well, you put the rotor on that has the flat spot. I don't know how he managed to put it on backwards, but it happened.
Were hot. You were stoned. That's but I was in I was the one sitting inside and he tells me to turn it over. And I could see the flame. One of my friends in school did that with the aerosol can, hold the lighter up. He was like, "Oh, man, it flame right in front of his
face."
I thought, what the fuck happened? He goes, I put the
rotor cap on backwards.
Just a little, it's like a little piece of tin on a plastic. You know what I mean? You know what it look like?
Yeah, it's only a little.
Look like a diving board.
What electronics works, electricity. When it ain't happy, it makes itself known.
I didn't know. At that point, I really didn't know, but I thought, well, we're here. We're not doing anything. We already, toked it up and already started checking it. They started doing samples in around 1980, 82, I think. And but that was something to see, man. It was probably even more meaningful for him.
Close up, yeah.
But he's got his face over the fucking curb. I go, man.
It's funny when it's not you.
Whoa, but me, I always fuck shit. I fuck shit up like that. Things all the time. But even I, when I thought, fuck, how could you fuck this up, man? I'm not even that fucking dumb to fuck this one up. It made me feel good, but oh my god, that was and the flame come shooting up and singes your freaking eyebrows. Oh, it was that was cool that nobody was there. All we did was
remember when I bought my first vehicle at 16. Man, I knew nothing about cars. I don't even the year and a half I had a 66 Cutlass. I don't think I ever checked the oil once. I'm lucky I didn't burn that thing up.
I knew how to change oil. It's just that
I just didn't know how to do stuff like that.
I knew how, but I was just too fucking lazy. I bought a 77 Camaro and I had a couple of them, but this one in particular was a 77. I bought that in early 80s. I beat the fuck out of it. I never changed oil in it. I had it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And,
I know when I was stationed, I was in my tech school, I think, in Mississippi, and there's this kid. He was from Jasper, Alabama. And he had, remember the Smoking the Bandit, the black Trans
Yeah.
Am? He had one of those. Yeah, I don't know. It was probably back then. It was probably a 4-speed, manual. But
Oh yeah.
that was a pretty cool car, man.
What year was it?
Well, that was around what,
78?
76, 77, 78, somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had and it had the gold, eagle on the hood and everything. It was just like the Smokey and the Bandit one.
6 liter, 455, 6.6. Yeah.
Really? Was it 6.6 liter engine?
Yeah, it was 6.6.
I didn't
think
think
it
it was that bad.
it was a 405 or something like that. Yeah, it was 6.6.
But I thought that, remember when the Mustangs had the 5.0? I thought
Yeah,
that was
but-
the largest engine, but the Trans Am had a
302?
bigger one, huh?
I think it was a 302. But they got rid of that because they tried putting a 4.8 or something. I
Yeah.
forget what we totally fucked that up.
And I know when I was in Nebraska in the late 80s, single guy I was stationed with, he had a white Mustang that had one of those 5.0s. And
Yeah.
he had a 5-speed manual or 4-speed manual, whatever they had. That was a cool car.
My friend's girlfriend at the time eventually married and then divorced her. She had a 4-speed 5 liter 5.0, and he goes, "Man, watch this!" He's doing a show to car, and she was a pretty hip. I never got a lot. I didn't like her, man. I mean, I don't know, man. She's like headstrong, man, because she come from a mother. They had 8 in the family, like 4 girls. Their mother was just, I don't know, Snoopy for her own good, But yeah, that was fun back then. I said, Joan, why don't you let him drive us all the time? He had to beg her to drive it like it was,
Yeah.
And it was nice back then.
Yeah, this
I-
flea market I go to, a lot of times they might have sellers out there. They're just like cleaning out someone's house. Someone that died. They just got a whole bunch of tools laying on the table, like everything's $1 or something like that. So you can get some good cheap tools. If you find the right spot.
Yeah. Anyway, it's been pretty wet, rainy here all the time, man. Rains every day.
Man, we had a flash flood here yesterday. I mean, the wife and I were out. We had to go to the store. We went to Costco and Walmart, and it was raining pretty heavy. But then came alerts, how they come over your phone, beeping and saying it's flash flood warning. And then I saw the news today, man, about a quarter of a mile away from where we were, there was the road was flooded. I mean, there were cars up to their their hoods.
75 in Chicago right now.
Yeah, that's about what it is. It's going to be 85, I think, for the high.
86. It's 86 here.
Yeah, but that's 9 at night, right?
Yeah. That's usually sometimes a daytime high. I haven't yet. As yet, I think I only experienced humidity twice. Otherwise, there's been a nice breeze out of the east,
Yeah, it was so hot the last couple of days. I had the AC temperature set at 75 in the house. I mean, that's how hot it was outside,
You're living, man. 'Cause I was a type, when I had my own house and I was by myself, I had it set at 77 or 78. It was
really
just
that high?
yeah.
Jeez.
Well,
Yeah,
I
if it was
worked.
up to me, I'd have it set at like 70, but I got to pay the electric bill, so
Well,
I'm
yeah.
a little
Well,
more careful,
that's why I was, man, because I had nobody living there at the time, and I wasn't home, So
I like it cold.
I had to come on at a certain hour. The heat too, It's gonna be nice and freaking toasty in the winter when I got home. Oof. It'd be running for like a fucking hour and a half.
Yeah.
But now I don't. We've been having these rolling fucking brownouts or whatever shit every night, just about from 6 to 8:30 or 5 to 8:30, something like that.
Uh-huh.
We got to get a pool, man, because my son's out there in a wash tub, him and his cousin.
Uh-huh.
So he needs to get on something else other than them stupid TV thing. I don't watch TV here. My wife's got it. We got to run through YouTube, so she watches all kinds of Filipino shows
Uh-huh.
and movies and that. But I don't watch nothing. Today, the 65-inch one, my son had it all day. But if I had instead of having room air conditioners, if I had I'm gonna
Now,
get one.
When it comes to football season, are you going to be able to watch football games
I
live?
don't know. Well, maybe somebody's game. If I join that app Danzen, Gazen, that's how it's spelled.
I mean, it'll always be in the middle of the night, but if you want to watch it live,
Oh, well, I don't. They say I said, hey, when I Google it, hey, can I watch Packer football games? They said yeah, but they didn't say like every single game.
Yeah.
But
I remember watching. I was stationed on Okinawa. We had a big game room in our squadron, and we had it was the Bengals and the 49ers, I think. So it was like 1990 or 91.
The freezing.
Watching, and it was like 8:30 in the morning. We were watching the Super Bowl on Monday morning.
Oh,
in our squadron. Yeah. I think it was Cincinnati, San Francisco, back when Montana was playing for them.
Yeah, when I was out visiting the daughters, oldest ones, back in 1999, I think I was out there in the fall. Around that area, Folsom, near the prison, and
right. Johnny Cash's song, right?
It was about, but that wasn't about. He wasn't in prison, but he's saying about it. Somebody else's experience or something or other. He'd take you on a tour, not inside the actual prison, but probably one of the guardhouses outside. It had one guy made the Golden Gate Bridge with matchsticks, farmer matches. It's pretty cool. But anyway, I watch. Them being 2 hours ahead, or was it 2 hours ahead? Yeah, I watch football. The noon football game come on at 10.
Right.
So by the time noon came, you had the rest of the day, man. It was perfect for me. I just didn't see what the big deal was about living out there, though. I mean, we went to the supermarket.
So expensive, man. I mean, they got some really nice weather, but it's so expensive. Wow.
We went to a supermarket that was cut out from the side of this mountain, and all the ground and the foliage was like burnt orange, so that's super dry. And I looked up way up there. I mean, it was a freaking tall. There were houses way up there. Now, their view now looking straight down is the top of the business, but looking straight out, man, it's like you got nothing because they're way up there like a skyscraper. That hill was probably trying to equate it to what would that be? Be about 45th floor or something, something where there's no obstruction, just a nice view of the vertical. It was nice. I thought, man, they really killed that.
My dad's older sister moved out to Montebello, which is in East LA, back in 1947. Because she was married to a guy like 15 years older than her. They moved in 47, bought a house, and she moved back like, I want to say in the 90s or 8. I don't know what she sold that house for, but can you imagine how much it appreciated, between 47 and say even 87,
Then you get that Proposition 13 that Reagan got, where the taxes stay the same for that particular. So you can buy $1 million house and your taxes
But see,
You
this
see-
this aunt had no children, and she let her
Uh,
one niece, my cousin, be her like power of
Yeah.
attorney. So when she
Yeah.
sold all her stuff in California, who knows who got that money, you know? And I'm sure it was my cousin who was her power of attorney, but she had to make a killing off of that, you know?
Yeah. Jeez.
Big time money.
Yeah, you look at them. My oldest daughter, she moved back. They left here and went to Texas. They were about, I don't even know, man, 6 and 5 maybe. I'd be guessing. It's pretty close to that. But the other one, the number 2 one, they moved to California from Texas, and she got married a third time, I think. Male nurse. They live in Jacksonville, Florida. My oldest
I mean,
daughters.
Some of that weather is, I mean, they have no humidity, so you know it feels so good, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
And when it was, I know I told you I think before I went out to be best man at my buddy's wedding. I was in the Air Force, and so was he, but he was getting
Uh,
married up in Travis Air Force Base, which is east of San Francisco, and
uh,
we're sitting on his father-in-law's porch. His father-in-law had a double wide trailer in this beautiful community, you know. And I'm sitting in the shade. He said, "What temperature do you think it is?" And I said, "Oh, 70." And he said, "No, it's 90." I said, "What?" I said, "Never in my life have I felt 90 degrees. Like it
oh
felt
yeah,
this good, you know, because we were in the shade and there was no
dude.
humidity, and
When I
it was perfect."
when I look at the heat number, temperature number, I look at I look at the humidity first.
Right.
You know, because you know, 50, 45, 50, 60% is beautiful. You know, you got 90, you got it made. You know, here,
Yeah.
here right now, if I was outside, it'd be so freaking pleasant most of the time. You know,
Really? What's the humidity percentage, you think?
but here or by you,
By you?
I don't know, man. I have to Google that shit.
Because it'd be.
Humidity.
I remember Okinawa, man. I'd just come out of my place in the morning in my uniform to go to work, and I'd just be sweating.
Oh.
You know?
Feels like 86. Humidity 86%.
Wow, 86.
Wind out of the west 3.
Yeah, you see, I guess I haven't heard from Craig Parrish in a long time, but down in
Mhm.
Australia, they're like 30 degrees, man. It's their winter time. You know, it's dead of winter, I guess, for them. But
I can handle it better if I didn't have to deal with the freaking cold. When I was on my job with the transit system, I've had times where July, you thought that when you were a kid, it was 47 degrees.
in
And
July,
yeah, we had a cold spell for long years, man. Like, what the fuck, you know? Dog days, August, I used to try to sleep in a sweltering heat in an addition bedroom that was put into this old house many moons ago. And it was freaking hot, man. You know, I had no choice.
I think this year was the latest I can remember running the furnace. I actually ran the furnace one morning because it was like the end of May, like the very end of May, and there
Yeah.
was frost on the window of the car in the morning. And I actually turned the furnace on, which I hadn't had on for a while, you know.
Yeah.
But that's how cold, and it was the end of May. Now it's what, 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, we've got 90s. You know, it's crazy.
Oh.
I want to go somewhere. I wouldn't mind going to Australia right now if they've got 38 degrees.
Well, I've had it where it was 47 degrees, but the wind was off the lake. Always fucked
I
that
mean,
up.
was that the high for the day, or is that a morning low?
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, the 47 was the freaking high, man. When they had Summerfest, I don't know if you ever heard of that festival, Long Lake, Michigan. It's one of the biggest festivals in the world. And these young teenagers were going down there, and it was just before it closed. It closed at midnight. These girls are heading down there at 11. They're dressed like hookers, man. They got, I mean, the shit they got on. It's cold. It's cold. But I've had it where the wind on a 47-degree day, because the wind was off the lake, like a northeast wind. It's
Yeah.
freaking cold. In the winter, I've been on times when it was 25 degrees and the wind was out of the west, and it was great. You know,
Yeah.
I don't do that shit no more. I can't do fuck. Man. I want to get that pool, so then when the power does go out, I can take a dive.
I'm good. Just keep it between 20 and 75. That's perfect for me.
Yeah, it's a fucking penguin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine that's why those other YouTube people moved to Tennessee when the guy said Florida was too hot.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I had this old couple who stopped at this thing when we were going back one year in the 90s. And the old lady was, they're going back to New York State. And she's like, yeah, it's so hot. I said, well, when you get home, it'll be freaking cold, man. I go, what's worse for you? You know, you got arthritis and shit. You got that furnace on, the air is dry.
Well, my son's going to be coming up from Florida. I think Sunday he's flying up. He's not going to get much of a break from Florida weather because I think it's supposed to be in the 80s here next week. But yeah, I mean he's going to finish his college and get 2 more years down there. But I wouldn't want to live there in the summertime. That's for sure.
Feels
I could
great.
go down in the winter, but
Oh my God, dude! I used to go there to ex-wife every year for 10 years, and we get down there when it was 35 back home, and it was freaking 85 there
yeah.
during the day when everybody works, and kids are in school. It's so freaking peaceful. And my father-in-law had a pool built, in-ground pool.
Oh, so
Freaking
you were down to
beautiful.
your in-laws' place.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there listening to just tranquil, man. I'm just sitting there, just
What part of Florida was it?
48 miles north of Tampa.
Uh-huh.
Called it's near Witchy. There's a nature preserve park there called Witchy Springs or something.
Watch
Where
ahead.
they have Witchy. They got
That's about
like
where Robert Cole's at. Robert's north of Tampa, a little ways.
they
He's
got
inland.
it's a refuge for manatees.
Uh-huh.
And they have that what do you call it, mermaid thing. There's a show they put on.
So
You know.
you'd go down there every year?
We used to go every year, man.
What time of year did you go down?
Fuck, January to April, one of those 4 months
Yeah.
we get the
Well, it
year.
was
And
nice. I mean, you got someplace free to stay, right? Because you're staying with.
but
the
if you go in the summer, our summer there in July, it's fucking raining. So
Yeah.
that we only did that once. The rest of the time, when I'd come back and we'd have this company bowling tournament, I could have won it one year, and I didn't give a shit. But I would go to these suntanning booths to get a base tan so I wouldn't fry. And we'd spend 2 weeks down there. And when I came back, everybody thought I got it from a machine. I said, "No, man, I got it from being out."
Uh-huh.
I was a big sun worshiper back then. Now I have very, very pinkish looking. I don't know. I'm not. Maybe it's my age.
Nobody else is on this week, huh? No Christian,
Uh,
Simon, Gary.
No lurkers, maybe.
Everybody forgot about it.
Yeah. No
Can't
Christian.
see on your thing if anybody's in the background.
It says one. That's probably you. Huh.
It sounds like Gary just stays in his place all the time, He said he walks a little bit, but
Yeah, I don't know.
if I was there, I'd be out traveling. I want to see different places, you know. I mean,
Well,
I wouldn't just stay in my house all day every
Or-
day.
according to him, he's limited in his income. So
Yeah.
what exactly it is, I have no idea. He don't even show his lady, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He's supposed to be coming back here pretty soon.
Yeah, he probably
What
is
did he
there.
say? July, maybe?
I thought it was sooner than that.
It may be. He's coming back here for a month.
So maybe he's coming back right now.
And then he said his lady's going back to her parents in the
Hey,
province.
I wouldn't have a problem, but my back, I can't take that shit, dude. I cannot take that freaking 15 hours over the ocean, you know,
Yeah.
8 hours, whatever the fuck. Oh, I can't.
So
man.
how's your truck running? How many miles do you have on it now?
I'm over 3,000. Oh,
Is that kilometers you have? 3,000?
Yeah, I might have 4,000. I don't know.
Wow.
I got kind of worried there when I was taking the long way to the school, but all the city employees are going to work. Now they got the street. They got Montilla up to J.C. Aquino there. They're doing putting in some big rubber the sewer pipes. So that's going to be effed up there for a while. And they got the street that you turn off of Montilla where my kid goes to school. That side of the street's blocked. So I got to figure out. I don't like going out the hood way because there's just too much going on. It's too
When's the
busy.
last time you had to go out of Bunkasi Airport? When's the last time you flew?
Man, when I got here, 2
Really?
years ago, over 2.5 years ago,
That's the last time you've flown, huh?
I think. Yeah. Well, no, we went up from here to Manila for the 13A interview thing.
Yeah. I think I'm going to fly the end of July. We're going down to Florida. I think help my son move from Tampa to Orlando. And I think I flew last year. Yeah, I flew to Tampa last year.
Yeah, that's the lightning capital of America there.
What, Tampa?
No, Orlando.
Really?
Yeah, man. They had lightning strikes. When I was down there, an air conditioning unit on top of I don't know if it was a Holiday Inn or whatever, but or a business or condo unit or whatever, but
Yeah.
that lightning blew that freaking air conditioning.
Hey,
Blew
it's
that-
not in the world because I just saw online. There's a place in Venezuela where it lightnings just about every day. And I mean a lot. It's like the most electric place on earth. I forget the name of the town in Venezuela, but
It's got maybe it's beat then. But over here, not right in front of my house, but about 100 yards. There's back in these trees. There was a lightning strike because you could see the flash, and then there was the delay between the flash and the boom, like a firework. And
my wife has known at least one relative that was killed by lightning strikes there.
they hit the ground, man. That one hit the ground.
Yeah, I mean, you figure most people are out there in flip flops, you know, and you're soaking wet. And the lightning strikes. Guess what? It almost got me. When I was there, my wife's hometown on the coast. I was out with her cousin's husband and another guy. We're out shooting pool, drinking beer, and I was staggering home at light, and it was a big old storm came up, you know, and it was lightning. I'm in water almost up to my knees walking home, and lightning's cracking all around me. How I didn't get killed, I'll never know. But it was stupid. But I was stupid drunk. That's the problem.
I think it hit the ground because otherwise people would have been talking. It didn't hit any houses, but it got damn close to one. And that was the first time. That was the first time I never actually saw the bolt. But when you see that flash and there's a delay, with the before the boom like a firework, you know.
Yeah.
I went, holy shit, man! You could feel it.
Yeah, my wife, when we were over there, back in, my kids were young. What was it, like 2005? Went over, and
Yeah.
the one, her like second, third cousin, a young kid named Bernie. He he was my courier. If I'd go to the ATM and get a lot of cash, I'd give it to Bernie, and he'd walk with me. So if I got pickpocketed, they wouldn't get anything from me, right? And so I let Bernie always carry the money. But it ended up Bernie was in a family of like 8 kids, and his dad was killed by lightning strike. So all he had was his mother and all these siblings, you know. But
You said,
I come to find out years later, Bernie died. I said, "What? He was a young kid, you know." I was like,
Yeah.
"How'd he die? He had to be like in his late 20s when she told me." Yeah, he just, I don't know, heart issues or something. Like,
when I was
man,
there was a radio guy, radio personality. I forget the guy's name in Milwaukee. He just moved to a state down south. He was 29 years old, and he died of heart attack. Hey, you remember that movie, The Great Outdoors, with John Candy, Dan Aykroyd?
I don't think
When
I ever saw it. I remember it when it was popular, but
it's hilarious. They were sitting at a bar and they were talking about stuff, and he said, "Yeah, Bert there, whatever the guy's name was. Yeah, Bert there. He never met a more tuned in person than a barometric press." and they said, "Reg," bartender said, "Reg, how many times you been here now?" He's going, "Sit. 66." And Dan Aykroyd goes, "Oh yeah, I like that Neo Skunk thing you got going on." Yes, he had a streak of white hair down the middle of his head. Hey, my buddy George, he had a girlfriend once. I didn't want her. I didn't like her, so I got them together. But her sister, natural, she got a streak of gray hair, like a couple inches wide, like 2 inches from the front and the middle all the way down the back. She was, man, we were 16. I think her sister was like 14 or something like that. But I can remember him. Oh, I can't say that here though. It was hilarious, man. You know that Dan, you just know what kind of funny man them guys are, you know. This is big time.
you know who was funny was what was that guy, Harvey Korman and
Tim Conway.
Tim Conway. Oh man, those guys would bust each other up. They'd be in the middle of the scene, and the other one was crying, laughing. They're supposed to try to be.
It's supposed to be a big no-no in comedy, but like in Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Fallon would always bust up, and what's that? Rachel Gretsch, something like that. She's like, she always made this face, this little segment they were doing. I just found out today I wasn't fertile, and they're supposed to keep this, what's his name? What's that guy's name that does the, he was in Old School. Saturday Night Live. I forget the guy's name. But they were in a hot tub in, what's his name? What's her name? Vanderbilt. I forget the girl. Her Vanderbilt was a grandma or some shit. Anyway, they were saying stuff, and they were all cracking up, and that's supposed to be a no-no. You're not supposed to do that. But to me, it's hilarious. When I see these guys laughing the way we would be laughing at them.
Yeah.
They didn't do it every time, but
sometimes you can't help yourself. I mean, if it's funny, it's funny,
Yeah, she'd make this face like, and they'd zoom into the camera would zoom in on her, you know, because she was like Doug and Wendy Weiner, you know, back in the other guys, Saturday Night Live, Joe Piscopo, and I forget who. You know what I was thinking? You remember Howie Mandel?
Yeah.
Kind of a boring comedian, right?
Yeah.
I see he's a judge on America's Got Talent or something.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What the fuck is that guy judging other talent? He don't even have any. That fucker.
Yeah.
When I
You
sit
gotta
there, and
wonder how some people made it.
you know, just because you take a class doesn't make you an expert. You know,
It's like
I
people
was
in TV in the '70s. Like remember Hee Haw?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
there'd be a
but,
couple characters there, and like how
yeah,
did they ever get famous? Just being at the right place at the right time.
yeah. You know, I mean, one person can say the same line. It's just not funny. It's just something special. You know,
Yeah.
Richard Pryor could do stuff, and if you had somebody else do everything he did, would
Richard
be
Pryor
fun.
could just make a face and make you laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, same with
Yeah.
that other who was that big dude? The guy, live in the van down by the river. What was that
Oh,
comedy?
Chris Farley.
Yeah, Chris Farley. He's the same way, man. He's just funny.
Yeah, he's from. I don't know if he's from Wisconsin. He went to Marquette.
Yeah, he was from that area.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably never saw him, but he's 33 and he died. And I don't even know what year that was. I was older than him by much. But yeah, he get people to crack up too.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as they didn't do it every time, but the shit they said. It's this lady, Rachel Dresch. She make this face, you know. It was like she always had nothing but bad luck. Oh man, it was hilarious. Now I haven't seen the show. I don't think it's been funny for 10 years, you know, maybe more. 50 years old now. Me and my buddy, one of my friends from school, we used to go out there and get Schlitz malt liquor, man, 40 ounces, the King Can they called them, I think. And we come from wherever we were, we come back and watch Saturday Night Live. He's the one that turned me on to that show, you know.
Yeah.
We'd be laughing our ass off. And he had his cousin over one time from Rhinelander, Wisconsin, way up north. And I don't know if his name was Jeff. And we were stoned, man. I would fuck with him like crazy, you know. My friend said, "What are you doing that shit for? You're gonna give him a complex, man." we watched it, you know. We laugh our asses out drinking these good small liquors, man. Oh, those were good times.
Yeah. All right. Well, you ready to call it a night?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Did you take the pill already?
I did, and not the
All right.
blue one either. So
Right. Okay. I'll talk to you next week if you're on.
yeah, okay.
All right. Okay. Take care. Later.
Bye.